The 2024 Royal Rumble has come and gone, and I have not updated my side graphic. But boy, oh boy, was it an event. There's so much to talk about. Cody Rhodes, Bayley won the Royal Rumble matches, the men's and women's, respectively. Excuse me as I'm still getting settled in. But you should also get settled in. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Absolutely interesting night of wrestling. One thing for damn sure, this night was not for everyone. The WWE Royal Rumble has come and gone. We now know who will challenge for two of the major titles in WWE. Cody Rhodes, Bayley picking up the victories in the Royal Rumble. It looks like we're getting Cody versus Roman again. Cody seemingly hinted towards choosing Roman. I shouldn't even say hinted. He chose Roman Reigns to be the person that he wants to finish the story with. We have so much to talk about. If you're just joining us, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever new videos release. And also, put your thoughts about the Rumble in the chat. We got Alfred sounding off saying, go, Cody, go. We got, I believe, Carlotta, in the chat saying that this Royal Rumble sucked, plus CM Punk lost, bro. Cody is overrated since he returned. The women's is better than the men's. That is actually a sentiment that I agree with. I do believe that the women's Royal Rumble, just given everything, like surprises, moments, the meaning, it all was better in the women's Rumble than the men's. That doesn't mean that the men's Rumble, like I thought, outright sucked, but I definitely think the women's Rumble had a leg up for sure, just given the insane moments. We saw TNA wrestlers show up on this show. Jordynne Grace, the Knockouts champion, show up on this show, enter the Royal Rumble, absolutely blowing people's minds. Naomi making her return to WWE for the first time since May of 2022. And, of course, Bayley and Cody winning the Rumbles, like I said. Roman retaining his belt, LOL. And Logan Paul retaining his belt via disqualification, which was definitely an interesting choice. Let's talk about the Rumbles. All right, so first off, we had the Women's Royal Rumble. To me, match of the night. I thought that the Women's Royal Rumble, you're talking about pacing, you're talking about star power, you're talking about everything that goes into putting together a Royal Rumble, surprises, building stories for the future. This had it all, and then some. I thought that this was a fantastic way to open the show. For me, it would have been a great way to close the show, and that's just me being jaded with the whole Cody Rhodes story, which I will get to in a little bit. But the thing we got to talk about first is Natalya comes out at number 1, and then directly after her, number 2, Naomi. Again, not been seen in WWE in over a year and a half. She was very recently the TNA Knockouts champion. She wrestled Jordynne Grace, actually, at Hard to Kill and ended up losing her title and said a goodbye to TNA just recently. Now she's back, and it looks like she's signed for however long she wants. I mean, it really seems like she's back. That's great. And, honestly, like, one thing we can definitely take away from tonight is that there really is no doubt that WWE, when they're on it and when they care, they know how to book women's wrestling better than any promotion in the world. In North America, I should say. Definitely not in the world. Joshi Wrestling, rise up. Their Joshi Wrestling is great. Excuse me, parched. But definitely think that if you look at the men's Rumble compared to the women's Rumble, there really is no comparison in my eyes. I just think that just everything, entertainment value is just so much better. And honestly, like, did the men's Rumble have a big surprise? Really? Like, did it have a big surprise? No. And, like, not only in the women's Rumble did you have Naomi, you had Jordynne Grace. And that you had R-Truth just pop up because, R-Truth is doing his wacky cartoon character thing that he loves to do, which we all love. Come on. Like, it's it's corny, it's whatever, but it's our truth, and he's kind of funny, actually. But story of this Rumble, the Women's Rumble, was that Damage Control was going to be the reason that Bayley won. And that's what everyone believed. That's what I believe. And it's really interesting because if you look back through the history of the Royal Rumble, there really hasn't been an instant where the heels master plan, like a heel faction's master plan, has worked that often. Like, the only real time that I remember that really happening was back in 1999, the No Chance in Hell Rumble, where Vince McMahon claimed that Stone Cold had no chance in hell to win, and the entire point of that Rumble was to ensure that Stone Cold Steve Austin did not go to the main event of WrestleMania, and that was the only time that it really succeeded. You've had heels win, but I don't think you've had a heel with a faction, like the ministry, or the corporation, for example. There has not been a heel with a faction that has really like used that faction to win a Rumble. It's kind of like almost a disproven method of trying to win this damn thing. But, actually, that's a good shout. Robert Green, a legacy with Orton. That is a good shout in 2009. Very good shout. Yep. Yeah, legacy. But like I said, doesn't happen often. Like, that's twice in 30 plus years of the Rumble existing that's happened. But still, again, it's not a tried and true method. But one thing I can say is the way they did it, I thought was way more interesting because you had Bayley do it on her own. And that's the coolest part of this. You had Bayley go in and do it on her own. Of course, the other thing we got to talk about with this Rumble, Jade frickin' Cargill. A lot of people have been saying that Jade Cargill is not ready. A lot of people have been really, harping on the fact that she hasn't had that many matches. She's not that experienced. When in reality, she almost for like a year basically carried the AEW TBS championship. That Jade Cargill, actually no, over a year, she carried the TBS championship. That Jade Cargill had over 30 televised TV matches. That Jade Cargill knows how to wrestle. She's not Serena Deeb. She's not Hikaru Shida. She's not Bianca Belair. She does not have the experience of those women. She does not have the technical prowess yet. But she's good. And what she's good at is doing her moves and being a superstar. That's what she proved tonight. All the people who wanted to doubt her, time to eat your hat. Because tonight, she went toe-to-toe with Bianca Belair. She went toe-to-toe with Nia Jax. Had stare-offs with both. For me, the money match at Mania, give me Jade versus Bianca. That is a match that you don't need a belt for. It's a match that doesn't need anything else other than who is the BEST in WWE. And I'm telling you, Jade Cargill versus Bianca is money. Because the only two people that I can see like really ragdolling any of those two are each other. So give me that. I would love that. We got a friend of the show, Jermaine, in the chat saying, how is Punk going to get his main event? Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But guys, if you're just joining us, welcome to the stream. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. We're talking about the Women's Rumble right now. Jade Cargill, of course, coming in. There was a lot to like in this match, like I said before. Like, all of the surprises, all of the moments really happened in this match. Like, the Men's Rumble didn't have anything, honestly. But it was crazy. It was crazy to see Jade. Like, it was almost weird. Like, it was so weird because we're so used to seeing her on AEW TV that when she pops up on, WWE show or a WWE show and she goes in a WWE ring and a WWE production, it looks weird. Like, it's so weird. Also, like, the visual of her and Bianca Belair stepping like toe to toe, I didn't realize that Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair were like pretty much like the same height and like a very similar build. Like that was really interesting to see. Like it was crazy. So, and again, all the more reason. Give me the match at Mania, Triple H. Give me Bianca versus Jade. That's the match I want to see. As far as like what else happened in this Rumble, of course, Becky got a huge pop. Becky Lynch was my choice to win this Rumble. I know many people believed Bayley was going to be the winner, and I could see that. Excuse me. However, I do believe that the match for me was Rhea versus Bayley, which can still happen because you're faced with the situation now. If you're Bayley, that you can be like, maybe I don't want to face Rhea. Maybe I want that title that someone very close to me has been walking around with. Maybe I want the belt that Io Sky is holding. Because I've been staring at that belt for months now. That would be a cool story to tell, a great way to break up Damage Control, and you can even do it in a way that turns Bayley back to being a face and have Damage Control actually turn on her before she makes her choice, and that makes her choice a whole hell of a lot clearer. Again, I cannot commend this Rumble anymore. Like this match, the Women's Royal Rumble match is, I don't want to say textbook because I'm not gonna say it was the best Rumble of all time, but if you're looking at how do you put together a good Rumble and throw in a little bit of everything, I think this had a little bit of everything. The only thing really that this was missing were legends. The only thing that this was missing was just legends. Outside of that, the Women's Rumble I thought was the best that it could be. And it was great. We got a lot of people wanting to talk about the Men's Rumble. We can, we'll get into that in just a second, though. We will get into that in just a second. Again, guys, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Remember to leave your thoughts in the chat, and if you want to guarantee your question is answered live on the air, the best way to make sure of that is by leaving a super chat. Before I talk about the Men's Rumble, though, I do want to just offer some overall thoughts of the show. I thought one thing I really liked about this show overall was the 4-match card. There is no reason on a card where you have 2 1-hour-long matches that you need to have more than 4 matches total. I thought this was perfect. You have the world title match. You have another secondary title or whatever. I would have honestly liked to see Rhea Ripley or Io Sky have a match here rather than Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens. I get why they did it because, Logan Paul is the United States champion. That's another way for you to maybe popularize and give this event a little bit more notoriety, especially when you consider the fact that The Rock didn't show up and you didn't have Mercedes showing up, which I could have told you that. There's some God bless Just Brian from Off the Top. You're spreading that fake news. Love you, Brian. But it was God bless Just Brian spreading that fake news to Kenny about Mercedes showing up. I don't even know what the name of that outlet was, sportsnet.com or whatever. I'm not going to... No hate. Just collaborate. Let's go, baby. So I thought overall this was a very... I love the how condensed this card was, but at the same time, my God, I don't need 6-match cards. I don't need anything. But I will say, you could have put another women's match on there. That's all I'm saying. Now let's talk about the men's match. The men's Royal Rumble. I can see already a lot of you have some thoughts here about the men's Rumble. We already heard that Carlotta says that CM Punk lost. Cody is overrated. We got someone saying Punk fans are mad. We got Devil Gamer in the chat saying, bro, why CM Punk eliminated? Cody have won in WrestleMania against Roman Reigns. Worst match in Royal Rumble. No return. Why? Well, man. Game over. You did have a return, actually. I shouldn't say there were no returns in the men's Royal Rumble. You did have one major return. You had Andrade Alidlo show up. You had Andrade. And that is a big return for WWE. I think it's something we expected, similar to Naomi. It's something we expected, but and I think the crowd did pop a little bit for that, but I didn't give like the huge pop, like the Jordan Grace thing. Like I'm sorry, I didn't even touch on that enough. I don't think the Jordan Grace thing blew my mind. We had heard reports that there were going to be, outside promotions having representation in the Rumble. I believe FightfulSelect.com had reported that. But, man, like I didn't think we were going to get the Knockouts World Champion in this match. And I'm so glad what they did, because Jordan Grace, when the moment got there and when she got there in that moment, under those lights, she shined. She had stare downs with everyone, and she looked like she belonged. Long gone is the era of WWE treating outside talent from other promotions as if they are less than. Even if you look at the way that Jordan Grace was eliminated, it took a whole hell of a lot to eliminate her. It wasn't just, oh, Jordan Grace, nice showing, haha, Michael. But this was like, it took effort. It took a KOD on the apron to eliminate Jordan Grace. And there's no better way, in my opinion, to put over how strong that is. I'm telling you, whenever her contract is up next time, I think WWE looked at this as like a moment where they're like, oh God, we need to get her in the building again. And I believe she tweeted something to the effect that, this is not over as far as like TNA representation in future WWE events. And I wouldn't expect it to be over either. I would expect TNA and other promotions to have representation in future Royal Rumbles. I would definitely expect it. Just like I expect you guys to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I put up a poll, and I promise I will get back to talking about the Men's Rumble real quick. I put up a poll on the community tab about what people thought about this Royal Rumble. 120 votes so far. 58% think good. 9% think bad. 23% think meh. And 9% of y'all out there said did not watch. All right, let's go back to the Men's Rumble. We had out number 1, Jey Uso, and then coming in at number 2 was, in a very, very, very interesting fashion, good old Jimmy Uso. And you saw the brothers go at it for the first time. I believe, this is one of the first times they've really been together anywhere on the show since Jimmy cost him the belt at SummerSlam this past year. Basically, whenever that Bloodline storyline jumped the shark. I cannot emphasize this enough. That storyline was on its way to being the greatest story that any wrestling promotion has ever told. And they ruined it. They ruined the hell out of that story with such a flat ending. And look, I may have worked myself, but if you followed the logic of the story, whether or not WWE intended to tell it, the Jey Uso was always the main character. That's just me. I did a whole video about it. Go check it out in the archives. But for now, let's talk about this Rumble. Out at number 1, we had Jey Uso, followed by Jimmy. Grayson Waller came out, and then we got Andrade El Idolo, now known as Andrade, coming out. Nice pop for him. It was good to see him, and we knew that he had left AEW, and the likely scenario was that he would end up in WWE. Other surprises, we also saw Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes, a pair of NXT talent in this Rumble. Pat McAfee showed up for a little bit. Pat was on commentary for the entire night, and God bless him. I am a fan of the Pat McAfee show. I think it's great what he's done for podcasting and independent sports media. But gosh darn, man, watch the product, or at least read up on it. Jeez, Pat was not good tonight. It was really, really exceptionally bad. He reminded me of I don't remember what year. I think it was 94. Was it 1994 when the Royal Rumble was in Baltimore? It reminded me of what was it Baltimore? What year was that where we had I don't even remember. But anyway, I remember that oh, this is interesting. The WWE. Sorry, I'm getting a bit distracted. But the apparently the WWE press conference is going on right now too. I forgot that I didn't forget about it, but it didn't cross my mind to keep up on that. All right. So apparently Triple H is going to speak last. The only reason that I'm interested in even monitoring that situation is just because of the Vince McMahon allegations, obviously, that came to light recently. Obviously, those are big on people's minds, and I want to keep y'all informed as much as I possibly can. So as that information trickles in, I will let you know. But yeah, Pat McAfee was pretty bad tonight. I got nothing else to say about that. Another interesting note about this men's Rumble before I talk about the finish. Kofi was in it, and it's his 16th time being in a Rumble, and he officially passes over Dolph Ziggler for being in the Rumble. He's now second all time, only behind Kane, who has been in 18. Kofi in his 16th Rumble. So 2 more Rumbles, and Kofi is tied for first all time. Michael Cole, by the way, actually commentary overall was really bad on the show. I do want to just make that comment. Michael Cole was he was trying to read off the stat sheet one too many times, every single time. It was just and it took away from the action that was actually going on in the ring. Instead of focusing on that, he was focused more so on and we're looking at the stat sheets. This is Pat McAfee's second Royal Rumble, and blah, blah, blah. I'm just you don't need to be talking about that with Pat. Come on. Also, he kept on talking about how he holds the record for an announcer in the Rumble. I'm like, God, okay, that means nothing, my guy, but all right. Let's see. Interesting. Apparently, Cody was asked about the allegations by Nick Hausman. That's interesting. All right, cool. Well, I'll have to check that out after I wrap up here, but we got so much to talk about. Men's Royal Rumble, obviously the finish was CM Punk Cody. Many people believe that CM Punk was going to be victorious in this match. I personally thought that Punk was the guy. I thought that Punk was going to win, that they were going to give him the main event and against Rollins, and that Cody was going to find his way back into the main event scene with Roman. I thought there's so much you could do there. That's not what happened. Instead, Cody beat Punk in the Rumble, throwing him over the top rope, and for being the first man in 26 years and only the 4th man all time to win back-to-back Rumbles. He now joins Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, and alleged racist Hulk Hogan as the only 4 people to do that in WWE history. Devil Gamer in the chat says WrestleMania matches: Jay versus Jimmy, Logan versus LA Knight, Seth versus, I think you're getting Seth versus Punk. I think Punk does get a main event at WrestleMania, and it's going to be versus Seth frickin' Rollins. It's the match that makes the most sense. I think they pretty much set that up. I think at Elimination Chamber, you're probably going to get McIntyre versus CM Punk, because CM Punk was the person who eliminated Drew McIntyre, and they seem to have that little stare-off thing going. But it would be interesting, though, if they wind up doing a triple threat. I think that would be a nice way to kind of throw some doubt into that situation. Because remember, Punk isn't the only person who's looking to get a main event at WrestleMania. McIntyre still has not gotten a main event or even a major WrestleMania moment in front of a live crowd. The time he won the Rumble, the time he main evented WrestleMania was during the pandemic. WrestleMania 36. Nobody was there. And remember, it wasn't even technically the main event because they filmed the match for Raw the next night with Big Show. It was kind of great. It was stupid, honestly. It was whatever. But yeah, it's what it is. Punk got eliminated, and the finishing sequence of the match was really interesting because Punk was going for another GTS. He had already hit Cody with a GTS. He went for another one, and he was quoted as saying, as screaming, "I didn't wait 10 years to lose to Dusty's kid." To which, of course, Cody Rhodes fired up, eliminating Punk. Cody's headed to Mania. He is facing Roman. The almost poetic irony of a former member of the Elite being the person who chucked CM Punk out of the Royal Rumble is not lost on me. It's also kind of funny when you saw Cody do the whole thing, kind of like give it a little too sweet there, which I'm sure Punk appreciated so much. I'm sure CM Punk was just giddy about that, but not as giddy as I'm sure Matthew and Nicholas Jackson were. Anyhow, Cody's going to Mania. He was pointing at the sign. He was doing the whole shebang. He was excited. He was very, very excited. And he was pointing, not just at the sign, but at the world champion up in the press box. He was pointing at the undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns. So it's basically official. Cody has made his choice. It's Roman, Cody 2 at WrestleMania 40 live in Philadelphia in the main event, likely of night 2. I'm making a guess on that one, but probably. And, you know, I've been critical. I've been very critical about the way WWE handled it, and I've admitted my own, like, you know, desired booking follies here. Like, I said last year that I didn't think it was a mistake to have Cody lose to Roman. And I said this before we witnessed everything that went down. And I could not have been any more wrong. The idea in my head was you break Cody down to being nothing but a failure, to be down on himself, to be doubting himself, and tell the story of his rise back to the main event scene and back to Roman Reigns a year later. That was the story that if you had Cody lose at 39, they should have told. Instead, we got a convoluted mess that was just filler and did nothing for the Cody Rhodes character. We essentially pushed pause on the entire storyline for a year, and now we're back at it. Whoa! And it's okay, cool. I love Cody, but it's almost like we're doing it just to do it rather than doing it for a reason, if that makes sense. Like, and I get it. Like, no one wants this story to be over as much as me at this point. Like, trust me, no one wants this shit to be over as much as me. But I just cannot, and I will not accept the fact that all of this was intentional or all of this was good storytelling when it was fundamentally not. It's fundamentally not. Like, had I known about, you know, Cody and the path that he would take, there's no way in hell I would have wanted him to lose last year. Jermaine says, yo, you're going off, but let us hear it on Wrestle Vibes. You can hear me actually going off about this exact thing over youtube.com/@WrestleVibes. Go check that out. I'm going to be putting some docu-style content up there pretty soon. But, oh my God. Yeah, no, like that. It is what it is. I'm sure that they are going to, you know, tell a good enough story. And I'm sure they're going to just edit the hell out of the footage and turn it into a wonderful, spectacular, stupendous even video package that is going to make everyone watching the event live forget that about the convoluted mess that preceded it. And that's fine. But really, I mean, to me, like, it does signify, like, one of Triple H's biggest mistakes as a booker. And not just this. I mean, like, if you look at, like, it's almost like in the biggest moments, Triple H folds. Like, when it's time to put a bow and a button on these stories, it's just, what are we doing? Like, it happened with the Bloodline. It happened with Cody. And I'm just like, where's the wrap up? Like, what are we doing here? And I don't know. Like, of course, I'm not going to blame it all entirely on Triple H, but a lot of this with the Bloodline and Cody has to do with his booking. And he is a great booker. He books great professional wrestling. He tells logical stories. I just don't know if he knows how to finish the story. Ironically enough, right? I don't know if he knows how to finish good stories. Like, because, again, the two biggest stories he's told, Cody and the Bloodline, both flat finishes. I guess, I guess technically we haven't seen the finish of Cody's story because it's going to happen this year at Mania. We'll see, but it's been pretty flat for the past year. Cody getting the win. Punk was obviously not happy afterwards. I don't think he's going to quit, for all of you people out here saying that he's probably going to quit. I don't think that's going to happen, but interesting to see that they went down that route. Other matches tonight, of course, Roman defended his belt in a fatal four-way match. It was crazy. At three different points, LA Knight had Roman beat, AJ Styles had Roman beat, and Randy Orton literally had Roman beat, if not for the interference by Solo Sikoa. And, of course, Roman won the match, and he stacked him, did the whatever. He beat him. He beat all four men. Or all three men, excuse me. One thing I'm getting sick of, and maybe it's purposeful from WWE, but, like, to me, it's just, like, it's turning me off a bit, and it's making me not care as much about the matches. I'm really getting sick of the Bloodline interference. I mean, I was sick of it last year. Like I said, the storyline, in my opinion, jumped the shark at SummerSlam. But the second I saw that referee get pulled out, because Randy hits Roman with like a spectacular RKO from when Roman was going for a Superman punch, and ref counts 1, 2, 3, and he gets pulled out of the ring. Of course, hooded figure. It was Solo Sikoa, and bro, like, it was just, I wanted to turn it off, and that's what you don't want to have happen. What you don't want to have happen is for people to get turned off and turn off your wrestling show. That's the sign, because I was just sick. I was like, okay, then I know what's going to happen. This is bullcrap. Why am I watching? At least leave it in the ring. Not everything needs to have interference. And again, maybe it's purposeful. Maybe it's kind of on purpose to kind of annoy the fans a bit. But, like, man, it's just so stupid to me. It's just so stupid. You got Kenny Jacobs saying, Cody the King, Punk fans, boo. Punk didn't get a big reception tonight. At least it didn't come across that way on TV. I don't know if anyone was at the show, but he didn't. Nobody said it's clobbering time, or at least nobody heard people say it's clobbering time when he did his thing. And I don't know. It just seemed like he wasn't getting a massive reception. And it was interesting. Tonight was an interesting show. Of course, the other match, Kevin Owens, Logan Paul. Fun match. Really fun match. Some interference by Grayson Waller. Future WWE Hall of Famer, Grayson Waller. And Ultimate Jabroni, Austin Theory, who came out for the distraction. And ended up giving Kevin Owens giving Owens, the brass knuckles by accident, which Kevin Owens ended up using on Logan Paul to knock him out. 1, 2, the ref's hand going down for 3, and he saw the brass knucks. And for the first time in wrestling history, a referee who obviously knew that there was cheating involved was like, no, disqualification, baby. Threw the match out. Logan retained. It was actually, I liked the finish. I actually did like this finish. Kevin Owens beat up Logan Paul after this, threw him through the table, Yeah. Jermaine says, Cody is treading water till that Roman face down. I am crazy for wanting Roman to win. Or am I crazy for wanting Roman to win? I mean, kind of. If Roman beats Cody at Mania 40, it's going to be interesting to see how WWE digs their way out of that one. I don't even know what you would do. Like, where do you in the chat, how do you do that? Like, where do you go from there, chat? Like, where do you go from there if Cody actually loses 2 years in a row? Like, do you run it back again at Mania 41? Like, like the story's gonna be tired by then. Like, everyone's gonna be tired by then. I mean, he has to win. Like, it is what WWE has booked themselves into. They booked themselves into a weird place where, yes, Cody has to win and he should win, but man, it's weird. It's just, I don't know. It is what it is. Ooh, a lot of people seem to be, Dave Meltzer just tweeted brutal. What does that mean? Oh God. Is Triple H being asked about the Vince McMahon thing? Oh, wait a minute. Cody saying, don't believe anything that Wade Keller put out about why I left AEW. Oh, okay. I got to watch this press conference. Anyway, we're heading down the home stretch of this review show, guys. I'll put out a video about, any news from tonight as well, obviously, but be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Last few chats here, and then we're going to wrap up and roll on out of here. But overall thoughts on the show, this was a good show. It was a good show overall. Women's Rumble was the highlight. The Roman Reigns title match was really good. The Fatal 4-Way match with LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton. And then I like the Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens match as well. So you had 3 really good matches, and in my opinion, a below average Royal Rumble for the men's. But it didn't bring the show down too much, I don't think. But overall, it was a good show. Out of 10, I would give this probably a 6.5 maybe as a show. Or as a PLE, a premium live event. Jermaine says, I just think Cody isn't what he once was when he came back. And for that, he's annoying and repetitive. Yeah, it is. I'm getting sick of the Dusty's kid shit. I am getting sick of it because it feels like every single promo, every single feud, whatever it is, no matter what, they're talking about Dusty. And I get it. That is at the core of Cody Rhodes and what drives him, his father and his father's legacy. And that is valid, and it's at the core of the story. But I don't know. I feel like we're I use the term jumping the shark already, but I feel like it gets a bit convoluted when everyone has a story about Dusty. And maybe it's fine or whatever, but I don't know. It's just I'm personally just sick of everything being Dusty says. And it not really playing a part in this. Because it didn't play a part in the story for the past year. That's it. It only plays a part in the story when he's going up against Seth Rollins. It's only playing a part in the story when he went up against Roman. And when he had that promo with Punk. Otherwise, when he went up with Nakamura, when he went up with Brock, it was nothing. So I'm just I don't know. I'm just sick of Cody, of the bad storytelling with Cody. That's what I'm sick of. I'm sick of the bad storytelling with Cody. And also, I'm a bit cynical. CM Punk being like, oh yeah, Dusty told me to take care of you. I'm just like, okay, come on now. I know that's not how CM Punk sounds, but it's my inner Carney is always like a cowboy. Devil Gamer says, Cody wins, shocking. I'm sure that's sarcasm. I hope it's sarcasm, but we'll see. Guys, this has been an interesting time. Thank you all for tuning in. Jermaine, Devil Gamer, Carlotta, Robert, Tomer, everyone who's joined. Thank you. If you're watching on the replay, thank you as well. This channel is impossible without the support of all of you guys who hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos. We have news updates, podcasts, live streams, so much more on the channel. Be sure to subscribe. Until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real. We are out.